The mining industry is dying a slow, painful, actually not that slow, but very painful death. To talk about it from the Independence Institute, Michael Sandoval does a lot of energy work for us. Pleasure to have you here. And the guy who's taking all the heat, Stuart Sanderson, our good friend from the Mining Association. Good to have you here.
Glad to be here. Thanks, John.
All right. Now, what I hear, it used to be that, 80-some% of our electricity in Colorado was made by good old-fashioned, reliable, cheap, affordable coal, and that's now down to like 72%?
60%.
60%. Holy moly. So that tells me, with my great economic background, that obviously we're finding better, cheaper ways of doing this. Let's start here. So basically, this is not a bad thing because there must be other technologies, including natural gas, solar, wind, that are just displacing coal.
Well, natural gas has displaced a little bit of the coal over the last decade, and that would, I would say, be what some folks have been calling a market replacement. But one of the things that they are either omitting or being disingenuous about is that the other replacements for coal, namely wind and solar, are not there by purely market forces. They're there by government mandate in the form of renewable portfolio standards that say we have to have a certain amount of our energy created by renewables that are defined in the state of Colorado, primarily going to wind and solar. That doesn't include nuclear, and it doesn't include hydro for those folks who are curious about that.
So there's a little bit. That one I've never quite understood. So we pass these renewable mandates,
right?
But yet nuclear power and hydroelectric power are not renewable by their standards. I don't get this one. Am I off?
They're off the table.
The rain continues to fall.
There's literally one sentence in the Colorado statute that defines renewables for the purpose of the portfolio standard, and it doesn't include nuclear and it doesn't include hydro over 10 megawatts, which is a very small installation. So all of the renewables therefore go to wind and solar because those are the ones that are actually going to be able to generate any decent amount of alternative energy for the state of Colorado, but we're still talking about very small percentages. It's about 82% coming directly from coal and then natural gas.
Right, so in this state, there's been a few industries since we became a state. Agriculture, cattle, now more than ever tech and some other industries, which is exciting, but it has been mining. This is a state where we got our nickel, where we got our silver, where we got everything, including coal. And now that we're not using coal anymore, our electric rates are going up. But what is it doing to Colorado? What is it doing to your customers?
It's having a massive effect on rural Colorado, and it is having an effect on Colorado as a whole. Colorado used to generate nearly 90% of its electricity from affordable, reliable, and I would also add clean Colorado coal and coals from other states, which also factor in.
You say clean. Right. Let me put you on it. What makes it clean? Because coal looks pretty dirty to me. What's the difference between coal and clean coal?
The type of coal that's produced in Colorado and the West is exceptionally high quality. It is exceptionally low in sulfur, mercury, ash, and other chemicals that result in emissions. And so we start with a very clean product to begin with. But in addition to that, with advanced generation controls that have taken place over the last 30 years, notwithstanding the fact that coal use for electricity generation has nearly tripled, the emission of criteria pollutants is down by about 90%.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty impressive. All right. So
no other industry has as an impressive a track record.
That's cool. But you mentioned solar and wind, and you say, well, natural gas has come on, but hasn't natural gas also benefited by fuel switching bills?
Sure.
The legislature came up with this great idea that Excel pushed, and whenever Excel pushes any idea, it costs us money. And it was to take coal power plants and turn them into natural gas. Would they have done so otherwise?
Well, the fact is, this was not justified by market forces. We hear a lot, the mantra that I read in the media is that coal is suffering because natural gas is more competitive. And it's true, some of the technologies that are employed in the extraction of natural gas are exciting, but it's government that has been the principal driver and the principal disincentive to coal use. The so-called Clean Air, Clean Jobs Act, House Bill 1365, which was passed 6 years ago, that legislation will result in the shutdown of 1,000 megawatts of electricity generation along the Front Range that was generated using coal. That wasn't a market force. Those plants are being shut down prior to their scheduled retirement dates. So, and in fact, it was actually more expensive to generate electricity using natural gas than coal, which is by far the lowest cost, most affordable source of electricity in Colorado.
All right, so without these manipulations in the marketplace, do you think coal would still be where it used to be as far as our portfolio?
It might not be as high, it might not be 90%, but it would still certainly be much higher than it is now. And some of what I was talking about was, and the point was that natural gas has made a certain amount of market improvement. Fracking revolution, the accessibility of sources within the state has certainly played into that. But the fuel switching is the government added layer of manipulating the market and choosing what we always talk about at Independence Institute, picking winners and losers. And they picked a winner in natural gas and designated coal to be the loser statewide, but also the communities that produce the coal and energy.
I don't care what produces our energy as long as it is the lowest cost. And it used to be that the Public Utilities Commission said the #1 driver of what our portfolios will be what is best for consumers. That's been turned on its head now, and coal has been taking it on the chin. What's happened to the coal industry in Colorado? In terms of jobs?
Well, there has been a significant job loss in Colorado. We are seeing mines shut down as a result of this. Over 1,000 jobs have been lost in southwestern Colorado in Delta and Gunnison counties. 2 mines there are already shut down. 2 of the 3, there's only 1 active operating mine still in that region. And there are going to be more job losses to come. And these are not just low-paying jobs. These are among the highest-paid industrial workers in America. Coal miner employees earn on average $135,000 annually in wages and benefits. Those jobs simply can't be replaced in those rural areas which do not have diversified economies. We hear a lot about retraining workers and spending taxpayer dollars on that. Well, I'm in favor of programs to help people who are relocated. Why are we destroying these jobs in the first place? And why are we now making electricity something that we considered fundamental to our economy, fundamental to our standard of living? Why are we turning that into a luxury product? Because that is the direction that we are taking. With government manipulation of the markets, rigging of energy prices, we are going to look forward to a much more expensive energy future.
Well, without bumping up energy prices, wind doesn't become competitive. Solar doesn't even come close to being competitive. If the clean power plan that Obama's come up with, it relies on messing with coal in order to put these further.
Yeah, and the regulations are going to be intended to drive up the price of coal, to drive up the cost of natural gas production. The next rule down the line is the ozone rule, and that's going to target natural gas. So we have government driving up the prices of fossil fuels in order to make solar and wind more attractive.
Because this is amazing. So natural gas, which was happy with the fuel switching bill to push coal out, now it's natural gas's turn to take it on the chin with regulations to push them out.
The ozone rule, yes. And these communities, Stuart nailed it on the head. You're talking about losing thousands of jobs and then ostensibly replacing them with hundreds of jobs in retraining to perhaps be solar installers at less than half of the salary. So you're talking about that job loss on the and families losing out in the community, but you're also talking about losing revenue. You can't tax a solar panel, so there are no royalties coming in from the production of coal and coal mining activities,
because
and if fracking was attacked, you wouldn't have the royalties coming from that, the property taxes, and so you're trying to they're killing it on one side and driving up.
30 seconds. Tell me, what's the answer? Well, then what fixes your problem?
I think we need a much more enlightened approach toward energy use, and what we've seen from the Obama administration, what we've seen from some of the state laws, is keep it in the ground, and that is the wrong philosophy. The fact is, the fundamentals of coal use look actually pretty good overall if government doesn't over-regulate. And so here's the thing. Coal use, the Energy Information Administration says that we expect coal use to increase by 20% worldwide by 2040.
But just not here. Stuart, I got to run. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.